going on, everyone? Welcome to my spoiler review with my friend Mark DiGiovanni of Avengers Endgame. We both saw the movie a week ago, last Friday, together. And now, for the first time in over a year, Mark, you're back on my channel. Welcome, buddy.
Oh, thank you so much for having me back. It's great. Great channel. Love to be here. Love talking Avengers. Let's go.
It's going to be a lot of fun. If you guys have not seen Avengers Endgame yet, this is a spoiler review, so go watch the movie first.
Go spend your $15.
Yes.
Don't watch us. Go spend $15 and then watch us.
Yes, it's worth your time. Go see it, then watch us. Let's get right into it, Mark, though. Avengers Endgame, the movie we have all been waiting for ever since Iron Man in 2008.
Yep.
Finally here. At the beginning of this movie, we have no clue where the film is going to go. The Avengers, they regroup, the remaining ones go find Thanos, figure we can go get the Infinity Stones, right? And bring everyone back. Well, Thanos is still living. He destroyed the Infinity Stones, so nobody could do that. And Thor kills him. He tears off his head with the axe.
Yeah, no, it was just crazy because how the movie started was, like you said, they're just all like in the Avengers HQ and they're just sitting there, sitting around. And all of a sudden Captain Marvel shows up and she's like, hey, let's try to find Thanos. And they go on like their supercomputer. They find him on some other planet in a distant universe. And he's like living like Shrek. Like, remember Shrek in that movie? He's like a farmer. He lives by himself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what Thanos was like. He was farming. He's just chilling there. He has his armor all set up. And all of a sudden the Avengers show up and say, hey, where are the stones? He's like, oh, I destroyed them. I almost killed myself doing it. And then Thor slices his head and says, this time I went for the head. And then, as a person who didn't see any trailers or anything or read up on anything, I was like, well, where's this movie going to go now? Because Thanos is supposed to be like the ultimate villain. Now he's gone. What happens now for, the next 2.5 hours of the movie?
And I will say, I figured that we would see Thanos reappear in this film eventually, because in one of the trailers we are actually shown Thanos, who was about to fight these Avengers. So it kind of spoiled it in a way. But I did figure he would make a return of some sort, and he does later on in this movie. We'll get right to that. But after this all takes place, 5 years pass. The Avengers, they're all devastated. They're not the same they were. They have accepted reality and figured nobody's ever coming back because the Infinity Stones are gone. They were destroyed by Thanos. There's no hope. But then Scott Lang, a rat, saves him. He comes back out of the quantum realm. To him, it was only 5 hours, but 5 years in real time passed, which was pretty funny because he had no idea what was going on. His daughter's a lot older now. Scott Lang thinks maybe time travel is a possibility with the quantum realm. He gets Tony Stark, who eventually comes back. Him and Captain America make up, which was a really good moment.
Scott Lang then finds this memorial by the DC Memorial, the Washington Monument, and it's all the names, all the people who died, and he sees his name because he wasn't even a part of it because he was stuck in the quantum realm. So everyone just thought, oh, he just died. Everyone comes back together. And then what I found confusing was Captain Marvel shows up in like the first 2 minutes and she just leaves. Like, that's what I
know.
She shows up and it's like, all right, I have to go figure out some other things on some different planets. Bye.
It did not really do too much in this movie. And as I alluded to earlier, Thor, he is fat in this film. I thought that was really funny. For me, I was surprised that they kept him fat till the end of the movie, and it looks like he's going to be fat in Guardians 3. I feel like they'll change him back to normal Thor when that movie takes place. But let's get into now the time travel sequence, Mark. One of the biggest spoilers for this whole movie. Everyone was wondering, what exactly do the Avengers do to get everyone back? Well, the answer is time travel. We see the old Avengers movie from 2012, where we have Cap and Iron Man go back there along with the Hulk. So we get to see Cap versus Cap. You have the whole joke about his butt in that scene. Then we have a few of our other characters scattered across the universe. In 2013, we see the old Thor: The Dark World.
We see Natalie Portman for 2 seconds.
Yeah, we do.
She shows up 2 seconds, her face on screen. Okay, we're gonna cut away.
And the old Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
And I was just gonna say, I thought it was funny how when they time traveled to different universes, they were all on Earth time. Because if you think about it, Mars is on a different time than Earth. Like, I think we're a couple years ahead of Mars. So it's just funny seeing in different universes. It's just like all on Earth time. It's like, there's no way this is real. There's no way.
None of it makes sense.
None of it made sense.
To make sense. That's the MCU for you. And at the end of this movie, it's all completely confusing.
It's
but
all questions at the end.
we'll get to that. Now, going back to this time travel sequence, 1970, we have Tony Stark with his father. They meet.
Yep.
He learns that his father is actually a pretty nice guy. Was that one of your favorite moments in the movie, along with Captain America seeing Peggy Carter?
Yeah, definitely, because I thought it was cool because, Tony Stark really never knew his dad because his parents died when he was really young. So he never really understood his dad. And then when he sees his dad, it kind of hits him at first. He's like, oh my God, like, this is my dad. And it was just a cool, like, sequence to see, like, how Tony was talking to his dad. Because if you remember, Tony's dad says to Tony, hey, I'm about to have a son, which ends up being you. And then it was kind of a cool, touching moment. And at the end of their conversation, Tony gives him a hug, and Howard's like, yo, Potts, what are you doing, man? Like,
that was funny too. A lot of hysterical moments in this movie.
And then how about that when Howard goes into his limo driver is Jarvis.
That was, yeah.
Which was cool because we all know, we've seen the Iron Man movies where he's like, hey, Jarvis, that was his, artificial intelligence computer. All of a sudden we see Jarvis like as an actual person.
There's a lot of callbacks in this film, including one from Iron Man 3, which we'll get to in a little bit. I would say the time travel sequence was one of the best elements of the whole film, but I think we may as well just get right into one of the biggest steps of the whole entire movie. That's Black Widow. She dies where Hawkeye is trying to rescue her. He wants to sacrifice himself to get that Soul Stone, but Nat, she does it instead because he has the family. And now it's just Hawkeye without Nat anymore.
Well, yeah, because we've seen their friendship develop over the couple of years of these movies coming out. And it was kind of cool because they're both fighting over who's going to give their life. And Hawkeye wouldn't give his life to save the rest of his family, while Nat says, no, you have a young family. You have to protect them. I don't have anyone.
And then the grand finale of this film was one of the greatest sequences I've ever seen. One of the best battles in cinema history at this point already. And that is when the Hulk, he snaps his fingers with all the Infinity Stones with a gauntlet, brings back everyone, then somehow Thanos from 2014 comes to the present 5 years later after Infinity War, and he brings his army. Captain America is now worthy of Thor's hammer.
Mjolnir.
Yeah, and I didn't really know that was in the comics. I never read the comics. I know you did. Was that a great moment for you?
Oh, that was awesome because in the way that was written in the comics is that Thor just handed it to Cap and he goes, yeah, I have the, whatever the axe is called. And he goes, you could have this. And like, that was written in the comics. Like, that's happened multiple times.
The greatest moment for me in this movie is when Captain America is by himself against Thanos and his entire army. Then you hear Sam Wilson in the background. Yeah. He says, on your left, which is a callback to the Winter Soldier. And then you see Black Panther come through the portal with everyone else, and I got so many chills, Mark. That moment was insane.
Oh, it was a great reaction from the theater too, especially when Cap picks up Thor's hammer. That was a great reaction because no one knew like that he was worthy because they never alluded to it at any point either. Mm-hmm. So when everyone else comes back, you see everyone go, "Oh my God, this is awesome!" And then
it was insane.
And then you see Spider-Man come back and have his moment with Tony because Tony like really had a connection with him. Tony like treated him as his own son.
That's part of the reason why Tony decided to help the Avengers with time travel to begin with.
Because I think he and Peter Parker had this like father-son relationship just because Tony did have father problems, mm-hmm. and he felt like I can mentor this kid. Yep. And that was cool to like see their whole little moment. And he says, hey, Doctor Strange told me, hey, we've been asleep for 5 years and we have to go help them fight. That last final battle was so great. Tony was the first guy who brought everyone together, and he steals the Infinity Stones away from Thanos, and Thanos tries to do a snap again, and it doesn't work. And then you see Tony just looks up and goes, I am Iron Man.
I was going to say, that's another callback because in the first Iron Man, at the end of that film, he says, I am Iron Man. At this one, Tony's last words are, I am Iron Man. Tony Stark dies in this movie. Did that make you very upset, Mark?
Well, yeah, it did because it was sad because from the beginning, when we first meet Tony, he's kind of self-centered. He's driven by his ego, and he's always about himself. That's the reason why Civil War started. And then you see him at the end where he goes, wow, like I have a chance I'm going to give up my own life for everyone else. And that was such a cool moment. Like, because remember he said, oh, I have a family now. I don't know if I can go back and do this, but for his daughter to live on, for his, wife Pepper Potts to live on, this is what he had to do.
I have to say I was trying not to cry in this movie. I could tell I was because my throat hurt. I was holding it back. Oh boy. We have a Tony Stark funeral, but Tony Stark, he kills Thanos. He's dusted. His entire army is dusted. Gamora, she returns from 2014 with Nebula and Thanos. We don't know what's going to happen to her. Did she get dusted too? One of the biggest plot holes of the whole movie for me was that, because
We'll
she
see
came
what
with them, and why wasn't she dusted as well?
Well, because remember, there's that one little plot where, Pete Quill sees her and he's like, Gamora? And like she kind of like knocks him out, and she does Nebula. Really, this is the guy I fall in love with. Really, this is him from this guy right now. This is who I fall in love with. That was pretty cool to see. And then I thought, it was definitely a tearjerker when you see Tony's funeral, and we all know like he has like that artificial heart. You see it's on the bed of the lake and on a bed of flowers, and it says proof that Tony Stark had a heart.
And you see the kid from Iron Man 3 at the very end when they're showing all the Avengers, everyone that's there for the funeral. That was one of the final callbacks in the whole movie.
And then Nick Fury shows up at the end because he was the guy who started all this. And
they did everything right in terms of a Tony Stark funeral and death for him. A character that will be missed, but one we will love, and did a fantastic job building this entire universe.
But how about the ending? It's just, the ending really confused a lot of people, because remember, they go back to the portal and they say, all right, we have to return every stone to where it went in the past. And Cap said, hey, I'll do it. I'm going to go return. So Cap, returns all the stones where their rightful place was before Thanos. We see him, like, Hulk's trying to bring him back, because he said, oh, for him it's going to take 5 hours, but for us it'll take 5 seconds. They're trying to bring him back, and all of a sudden Hulk says, I don't know where he went. And then all of a sudden Bucky turns his head, and he's sitting on a bench looking at the lake, and Bucky says, Sam, go over to him. And Sam walks over, and he's like, hey, Cap. And Cap's sitting there, as he's an old man with white hair, and he's sitting there with his shield, and we truly see the send-off of the new Captain America. That was written in the comics as well.
I have a huge problem with that, because not only is it out of character for Captain America to go back in the past and ignore helping people while just living with Peggy Carter. I thought that was a huge mistake on their part. But also, it plainly does not make any sense, because he goes back to another universe where there's the Avengers who exist in that time while he's living with Peggy Carter. So how did he get back to the same universe where Sam and Bucky are without going through the portal? It just does not add up. That was one of the biggest plot holes for me. Like I said in my original review, one of my biggest issues of the whole film are the plot holes, and there are many of them.
What you said, I think Cap created an alternate timeline from him, create an alternate timeline. That's why he was old.
There are no answers to this. That's what your speculation is.
My theory is that he created an alternate timeline, which then now that's the reason why he's old now in this current time frame, is because he changed his past.
Nothing will ever make sense. Whatever you want to believe is what you want to believe, but to me, it's just a lazy way of writing. That's why I think Infinity War is better. Not only do I like the structure of Infinity War better, where you have all these guys racing against time. It's a matter of hours until really they can get all of these Infinity Stones before the end of humans, 50% of them. And then in this movie, you have basically them sitting around for a good hour, going to time travel, fighting Thanos, and many plot holes at the end. That's an issue for me.
I guess it was an issue, but after 11 years of seeing all these movies from 2008 to 2019, an 11-year span, I feel like that was so worth it. Like, to watch Endgame, I thought to me that was the perfect movie to the perfect ending. And
then finally, one of the other problems I had with the movie, it's just a nitpick, but I didn't feel some characters got the best closure they could have gotten. I don't know if Hawkeye will be returning in any film in the future, but if this is his last movie, I don't feel like that's the correct closure for his character. I don't feel like there is an end to him yet. Scarlet Witch is another one. What's going to happen with her? Is she going to make any more appearances, or is this the end for her as well? Some characters did not get the best closure for a movie that's titled Endgame. We don't know who's going to be returning, who's going to be gone from now on, but I would have liked more closure.
You're right. Some of the closure was kind of weird. But I think for some of the characters, they did a proper send-off. I think for Captain America, passing a torch to Sam Wilson was great. I thought, seeing Tony come full circle was great. Obviously, Hulk is still around.
There's a lot of characters that still have a lot to do, and I'm sure we'll see a lot more of several characters that were in this movie. Black Panther, the Guardians of the Galaxy, Spider-Man has a movie coming out July 2nd. In general, I feel like this is one of the best MCU movies. Yes, I had issues with the time travel. It was a fun sequence of events, one of the best aspects of the whole movie, but it also opened a lot of plot holes in this film, and some characters did not get the best closure, but still, a lot of great moments. You have Captain America lead the way for the Avengers. Everyone comes back. Tony Stark gets a great send-off, was a phenomenal character all these years. Just to see an ending to these Avengers films, I hope, was very nice. And I think overall, it was one of the best endings you could have written up.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Andrew, it was a pleasure. Thanks for having me on, man.
Yeah, man.
It was
yeah.
fun. Thanks.
Dude, again, Mark DiGiovanni, hopefully we'll see you very soon, Mark.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, a couple good movies coming out.
Yeah, we'll let you guys know. Well, of course, this is the beginning of summer. It is now the month of May, so that means a lot to come from my channel. So many amazing summer movies that are coming out very soon, so I have a lot of reviews for all of you guys. Maybe Mark will be in a few of those. We shall
subscribe.
see.
Subscribe. Click here to subscribe.
That's what you do.
You gotta be ready. It's gonna be a big summer. Subscribe here. This is your man. He's got you.
Thank you.
Listen to him. Watch him. Subscribe at the bottom. And make sure you hit the bell so it's ringing so you get all of his notifications.
I appreciate it, Mark. Thank you so much. As always, if you're new to my channel, click the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and I hope you all have a fantastic day.